It's an old English folk tale, but one of the most popular versions in this country is an Appalachian tale, made most notably famous by a book by Margaret Reed MacDonald, and it's called The Old Woman and the Pig. You know, a long time ago, there was an old woman who lived with her boy on a farm. It was just the two of them, and they had to work very, very hard. They had to work very hard, and somebody always had to be at the farm. And so one day they were both working very hard. The old woman, she was making something delicious in the kitchen, and the boy, he was out in the yard, and he was raking up things that were near the dirt road, and he looked down, and he saw something shiny, and he reached down, and he picked up a nickel! A nickel! Oh my gosh! Well, because he was an honest and a good boy, he ran right inside and he said, look, I found a nickel. And the old woman, she took the nickel and she said, oh, what can we buy with a nickel? Now, you and I, if we tried to spend a nickel, we probably couldn't buy very much, could we? Maybe a gumball or something. But this was long ago. And so a nickel went a lot further. And they started thinking, well, maybe we could buy a new stove. You know, our stove is pretty good. I think we could just keep the one we have. Maybe a new pot, the one you're cooking the stew in. It's, well, you know, it is good enough. I don't know. And so they went back and forth all day. And then the boy said, maybe we could get a pig. And the old woman said, a pig? Oh, with a nickel, I am sure I could get a nice fat pig. Tomorrow is market day. I'm going to go and I'll bring back a nice fat pig. And you'll have to stay here. And the boy said, okay, I'll stay here and you go get us a pig. And so the next morning she woke up and she put her nickel very safely in her purse and she gave her boy a great big hug and he said, oh, I want you to go to the market and get a pig, and I don't mind staying here by myself, except if it gets dark, I'll be scared. And so the old woman said, don't you worry, my boy. I'll go to the market, I'll get us a good pig, and I'll be back before the moon comes up in the sky. Okay. And so off she went. Well, she was a very cheerful old woman, and so as she was walking down the road into the town to go to market, she was saying to herself, to market, to buy a fat pig, home again, jig. And then she came to a bridge, and the bridge was almost into town, and she thought, oh, this is going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun. To market, to buy a fat pig, home again, jiggity, jiggity. And she had a great time. She loved the noises that it made, and up she went into town. And when she got to the market, she found the pig seller. She wanted to make sure she knew she had plenty of time, but she wanted to get home before her boy would be scared. And so she went right to the market where the pig was, that all the little pigs were, and she said, I have a nickel. Can I buy a pig from you? And the pig seller said, ooh, big spender, a nickel. And he took it. He said, you can have any pig you want. So she looked, and she looked, and she looked, and she found a nice pig, and she said, all right, I'm going to bring you home with me. You don't have to come up, but I just want you to know you would be the pig. So she got the pig ready, and she put a leash on the pig, and she said, okay, let's go home. To market, to buy a fat hog, home again, jiggity jog. And she got to the bridge, and she went over, and the pig stopped and wouldn't go over. Oh! And she went around behind the pig, and she gave the pig a big shove. No dice. The pig would not go over the bridge. Well, she was a resourceful woman, so she started looking around, and she thought, well, maybe I could find some help. Oh, there's a stick. Oh, what a nice looking stick. Stick, would you come here, and is there any chance at all that you think that you could get behind my pig and hurry my pig along so the pig will cross the bridge so that I can get home before the moon comes up? And the stick said, okay, fine. And she looked around a little further to see if she could find some help. Oh, and she saw some fire. Can you make some fire movements for me like this? Oh, she saw some fire. She said to the fire, hey, fire, do you think that you could just a little bit burn that stick so that the stick would hurry my pig along, so that the pig would cross the bridge and I could get home before the moon rises? And do you know what the fire said? No dice. You say that? No dice? Oh my gosh. All right. What am I going to do? Well, over here I see some water. All dressed in blue and everything. Water. Do you think that you could start to douse the fire so that the fire would burn at the stick, so that the stick would worry my pig, so that the pig would go across the bridge, so that I could get home to my boy tonight? And the water said,
no dice.
oh my gosh, it's like they all consulted with each other. All right. Let me see. Oh, and then she saw a cow. Now she's a farmer, right? So she knew how to talk to cows. And she said to the cow, could you come over here and start to drink up the water so that the water would start to douse the fire, so that the fire would start to burn the stick, so that the stick would hurry the pig across the bridge so that I could get home to my boy tonight? And the cow said, oh, I'd like to, but there's a rope on my ankle. Yeah, for me?
I'd like to, but there's a rope on my ankle.
There's a rope on her ankle! Oh my gosh! Well, I better go talk to that rope. Excuse me, rope. Could you let go of the cow so that the cow could drink the water, so that the water could start to douse the fire, so that the fire could start to burn the stick, so that the stick would worry my pig, so that the pig would go across the bridge, so that I could get home to my boy tonight? And the rope said,
No dice.
no dice! Fine, said the old woman. I'll just look a little bit further. And she looked a little bit further. And they're hiding in the grass with a tiny little mouse. And she said, oh, mouskin, tiny little mouse. Oh my God, at the rope, so that it will let go of the cow, so that the cow can drink the water, so that the water can douse the fire, so that the fire can burn the stick, so that the stick can hurry my pig, so that the pig will cross the bridge, so that I can get home to my boy tonight. And that rotten little mouse said, no. Well, to tell you the truth, even a resourceful woman gets a little tired sometimes. She was starting to wonder if she was ever going to get home to her boy when all of a sudden she looked down and there was somebody wending their way around her ankles and leaning on her legs with their furry little face. And she said, oh, look, it's a cat. And she said, oh, cat, you are just the one I need. Do you think that you could step on that mouse so that mouse will gnaw at the rope, so the rope will let go of the cow, so that the cow will lap up the water, so that the water will start to douse the fire, so that the fire will start to burn the stick, so that the stick will start to worry my pig, so that the pig will cross the bridge, so that I can get home to my boy tonight. And that cute little cat said, meow, lady, are you the one who lives over on the farm across the bridge, who's always petting me and scratching my ears, and whose boy every Sunday leaves out a little saucer of meow? Well, yes, I am. Even though she wasn't sure if she was, but she thought I could be. Then the cat said, well, if you'll get me some milk. I'll see what I can do. So she went to the cow. She had some milk. And the cow said, if you can find me some hay.
If you can find me some hay.
Oh, man, this is a tough crowd. And she went over and she said, oh, look, here is some hay, and I don't even have to ask. And so she fed the cow, and the cow gave her some milk. And she put the milk on the saucer, and she put the saucer down next to the cat. And when the cat had eaten her fill, she pounced on the mouse. And the mouse started to squeak, 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 and ran over to the rope and started to gnaw at the rope. And the rope, oh my goodness, the rope was so worried, but it broke. And that let go of the cow, so the cow hurried over to the water and started to lap up the water. And then the water got so worried and said, oh my goodness, I better splash out of the banks of this pond and start to put out the fire. Yes, a little more. Yes. And then the fire got worried. Look at that water is coming for you. You had better run over to that stick, thought the fire. And so the fire ran over to the stick and started to bring the stick a little bit. And so the stick, the stick hurried over to the back of the pig and worried the pig. So the pig, squeeze. Can you say that? Squeeze. To market, to buy a pig. Home again, jiggly. Forever done. And then the old woman was so happy. And she got home and she saw her boy and he hugged her and he hugged that pig. That's the cutest pig I've ever seen, said her boy. And look, said the old woman, the moon is just starting to rise. Thank you. You are terribly good sport.